where the wild winds run, where the skies stretch wide and kiss the sun. The sagebrush whispers, the rivers hum. This land's a story just begun. Wyoming calls, where the heart beats free. Mountains rise and dreams run deep. Past the borders, past the sign, there's a world alive beyond the fence line. Boots hit gravel and the prairie sings. With every hoofbeat, the frontier rings. From ranchers' hands to miners' veins, the spirit of the West remains. Wyoming calls, where the heart beats free. Mountains rise and dreams run deep. Past the borders, past the sign, there's a world alive beyond the fence line. So come ride with me through the dust and time. Find the soul of Wyoming beyond the fence line, beyond the fence
Welcome to Wyoming Beyond the Fence Line, where we step past the headlines and into the truth. This show isn't about left or right, it's about what's real in Wyoming, across the country, and around the world. No spin, no talking points, just facts, context, and honest conversation. If you're tired of being managed instead of informed, you're in the right place. Let's go beyond the fence line. And now, here is your host, Joseph Kibler, candidate for Wyoming governor in 2026. Welcome to Wyoming.
Hello, Wyoming. So, yeah, you just heard it. I am Joseph Kibler, your candidate for Wyoming governor in 2026, seeking the Constitution Party of Wyoming's nomination. And here we are. Going to have a great chat today. I am your host, your illustrious host. In case you were wondering, you probably already know that if you're watching this show. Hope you guys are doing super, super great. I had the opportunity yesterday to break away and have some fun with my family. Yesterday, we went up to the zoo in Scotts Bluff. Got away for a quick little break since my kids are on spring break. Yes, we're homeschooled our kids. Yes, we homeschool our kids, but we're on spring break this week, so got to run away with them yesterday. So that was fun. Anyways, we're going to get into the show today. What is this about today? Your November choice. You can't sit this one out. You know what, you guys? We have become a culture that is disengaged and disenfranchised with our political process. We're no longer involved. We just sort of have blinders on. And if we do show up at the poll, we just vote one way without really knowing what's going on. And it's time for us to wake up, folks. The time is now. And today we're going to do it a little different this morning because you know what? If you've listened to politics for more than about 5 minutes, you already know how this goes. Somebody's going to jump on. They're going to tell you that their side is right, why they're right, and the other side is the problem, and why this is the most important election ever, again and again and again. And by the way, I mean, I sometimes think, wow, yeah, this is the most important election ever. And it's been like that, for like a decade and a half, maybe even longer. I don't even know. But we're in the most important election ever this November. But I just want to share some things with you guys today. We're going to talk about why people are checking out when it comes to elections. We're going to talk about the loop. We're going to talk about why sitting out does not fix it, you guys. We've got to do something different. We're going to talk a little bit about what be something different actually means and why this November is yet another important decision point. And we're going to talk about these things today. People are checking out not because they don't care, but because it feels like they've heard it all before. And I think that's where a lot of people are right now. I mean, that's even where I am. I mean, even that is probably part of my inspiration for running for office. So people just kind of start thinking, maybe I should just sit this one out. And I get that. But I don't think that's the answer. We have got to step back. Did you guys know that somewhere between like 175,000 to 200,000 eligible voters in the state of Wyoming don't vote? Folks, if you're watching this video or you hear some of these short clips from this video in the future, and you're one of those people that doesn't vote, will you please register to vote? Please, please, please register to vote. Even if you don't want to vote in the primary, vote in the general election. We need the 175,000 or so of you, or about 200,000 of you that don't vote to vote. We need to hear your voices at the poll. So please, register to vote. Let's talk about this loop that we're stuck in. And by the way, if all of you who are watching this are register to vote, we can probably get out of this loop that we're stuck in. Every cycle, the stakes are higher. Every cycle, the message gets louder. Every cycle, we're told that everything depends on this moment. And then we go through it. One side wins, one side loses. The emotions are high. And then things settle right back into a version of what we already had, right? I've said this a lot on the show over the past year. Why is it that no matter who we elect, we seem to just get more of the same, just in a different way? Or maybe perhaps we do the exact same thing, but we package it a little different. So, this sounds nice. This sounds really good. But we just package it different so that it keeps us in this loop. Most of us can see it, but we really just don't know how do we get out of it. And that's what this show is a little bit about today. And by the way, with what we're doing as a campaign, we're trying to offer you an opportunity to help us get out of this broken loop that we're in when it comes to government and politics. A lot of us don't say it out loud, but I know we feel it. Ecclesiastes 1:9 says, there is nothing new under the sun. I don't know if you guys have ever read Ecclesiastes, but if you have not read Ecclesiastes in the Bible, even if you're not a person of faith, go read Ecclesiastes. Very, very intriguing book. It talks about there being a time for everything and how basically so much of what we do is just vanity and needing to focus on the things that are important. And in fact, the conclusion of that book is the wisest man in the world, arguably, concluded that there was really only one purpose or meaning under the sun, and that was to fear God and to keep his commandments. Anyways, back to the show. That verse, there's nothing new under the sun, that doesn't say that nothing ever changes, but it is saying that patterns repeat themselves, and often we don't recognize them. We just keep living it. So why sitting out doesn't fix it, folks? You know, I meet a lot of people that go, Joseph, I don't vote. And I tell them, would you please vote? A lot of us just step back, we give up, or we just don't have the time. Hey, I understand that. It is, let me tell you what, it is really hard to be 46 years old, homeschooling kids, running a small farm, working for a living, and then also campaigning. It is extremely difficult. In fact, that is why I don't have the freedom that a lot of other candidates might have with their time and place. You know, I'm putting food on the table here, folks. And so it's a little bit different for me. But sitting out does not fix it, folks. And you have got to get involved. You know what? Even if you find a candidate that you can support, give them a half an hour a week of your time. Help them out in some way, shape, or form. The system does not stop because you stepped away. It just keeps moving and decisions are still made and direction is still set. And if you're not involved anymore, then representation is not true, is not real. So there is a difference between stepping away from something unhealthy and then removing yourself from responsibility. We must take ownership, folks, of this election in November. We have got to shake it up. We've got to break it up. We have got to stop the chokehold that the major parties have on us. But not only that, you'll notice they have that chokehold on many of our most principled members of leadership, and they're in a chokehold too. And as a result, we can't get a lot done. Disengagement does not fix the system, folks. It just removes your voice from it. So would you please, I'm imploring you, I'm begging you, does not take a lot of time to go register to vote in the state of Wyoming. Go to your local elections office, take 10, 15 minutes, register to vote, please. And then show up in the primary if that's your thing, but definitely show up in the general election and make your voice be heard. So important. So important. What does be something different actually mean? You know, I get this question a lot, and it means a lot of different things to me. But in light of today's show, we're going to talk about this sitting out thing. This is where we have got to shift, because the answer isn't just participate more in some way. That keeps you in a loop. The answer is we have to be something different, right? Right behind me here. Be something different. There's a reason for that. It means that we've got to be thoughtful, intentional, and grounded. It doesn't mean that you compromise your principles. You know what? I expect and hope that you will stand by your principles, your integrity, and what you believe in. And I hope you can respect me to do the exact same thing. And where we disagree, let's be something different than what we are told we're supposed to be, divisive and hateful. Let's work it out. Let's look at the things that we agree on, and let's get those things done. And then let's have a conversation about the things that we don't agree on and decide, can we move forward or can we agree to disagree, and can we move on like grown adults? Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's powerful. Because it's not talking about changing everything around you first. It's talking about changing how you think. And if we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and keep choosing the same way, we're going to get the same result, folks. Now, there are those that argue that this is not the definition of insanity, although I like it. I like it for the definition of insanity because that's how it works for me. This idea, you do more and more of the same in a different way, and you're just expecting a different result. No, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. You actually have to do something different in order to get a different result. I like that for the definition of insanity. I know there's a great argument out there whether that's what insanity means or not, but there you go. Take it for however you want to take it. So, in November, we have got to decide whether we're going to keep doing more of the same in just a different way or whether we are going to shake it up and do something different. Elect someone different. We got to stop running on autopilot. We got to stop going to the voting booth and just checking R or just checking D. We've got to just stop doing that. And by the way, not to say that there aren't good choices there, but we have got to stop just doing this by habit. Oh, that name sounds nice. Oh, that's the name I've seen around town, so I'm going to vote for that person. We have to work. We have to think more than that. We have to vote more than that. It doesn't mean you just pick a side and defend it no matter what. I've talked about this a lot. I talked about this a lot in yesterday's show. It means you actually take the time to think things through, even if that puts you outside of your normal boxes. I think it's so important, you guys. This November is, yes, yet another decision point. I think we know that, you guys, without saying. It's another decision point. So when I look at November, I don't just see an election. I don't think any of us do, and I think it's just sort of become that way, right? We're kind of politically exhausted. Every 2 years we do this. So really, the election cycles never stop for us anymore. I mean, the only way I can disconnect is I turn this thing off and go hide in the woods somewhere with no connection, right? It is not about just outcomes anymore, folks. We can't just be about outcomes. It has to be about approach. Are we going to keep reacting the same way? Are we going to slow down and actually think about what we're doing? Because I feel like we misuse so many words in politics now that I hesitate to say things like change. Because what does that even mean anymore? It's sort of like, what does conservative even mean anymore, right? Or what does grassroots even mean? Or what does it mean to be a Republican? And what does it mean to be a Democrat? We are in an identity crisis. So I don't know if I like using the word change, but I'm going to anyways, just because it works. The change does not start in the voting booth, folks. It starts here in our minds. It starts at moment where we are saying together, I'm not going along with this anymore. I actually want to think about it. I want to do something different. That's where it starts. That's what we have to do. That takes effect, and that's where real decisions come from. This is a little bit of a shorter show today because this is more of a get the vote out message today. Go vote. Register to vote. You know what? Guess what? If you're like, Joseph, I don't really want to register to vote as a Republican. I don't really want to register to vote as a Democrat. I don't even think I'm independent. I don't even think I want to join the Constitution Party that you're seeking the nomination for. You know what? Just register to vote as unaffiliated. That's fine. Register to vote as unaffiliated. Guess what? In the general election, you'll have an opportunity to vote for me. Yes, you can do that as an unaffiliated voter. You can vote for me. You can vote for the Republican candidate. You can vote for the Democrat candidate. You can write your own name in if you want. That's your freedom to do that. You can vote for an independent candidate. So you can do that in the general election. So register to vote unaffiliated if you aren't sure what to do yet. It's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. At least in November, you're going to have an opportunity to make your voice heard through your vote. So please do that. So let's land this episode here. I'm talking with my hands a lot today. I like that. Okay. I understand why you, if you're watching this, feel like you just want to sit it out or you just don't want to pay attention. You've had enough. I really do. And I think deep down, most people also know that that's not going to get us where we want to go. So we need to be something different. I'm pointing back at that again. We can't keep doing the same things the same way. That's really where it starts and how we need to think. It shows up in how we engage, and it will show up in the results of the November election. So eventually, the choice is going to be made whether we're involved or not, but I want you to get involved. So this November, don't go through the motions. Take a step back. Ask better questions. Pay attention. And then make a decision that actually reflects that process. Because whether you like it or not, you're part of what happens next or not, realistically. And this isn't one that you can sit out. We just can't sit it out anymore. You have to be something different. So that is my call out in today's show. Register to vote. Do whatever your principles and where you want to start. If you're not sure where you land and you want to have a conversation, hit me up. Reach out to me. Joseph, this is what I think. Should I register to vote? How should, maybe I should just go on affiliate. You want to have a conversation about, maybe you don't know how to register to vote. Reach out to me. I'll at least tell you how to do that so that you can get registered to vote. And again, I know so many of us, really about 50% of eligible voters in Wyoming feel disenfranchised and they're not voting anymore. Or maybe you don't know whether or not you're on the voter rolls. Go check. Go get registered. Now is the time. By the way, August, November are going to be upon us before we know it. We're going to blink and the general election is going to be here. Get it done. Make some time in the next week or two to go get registered to vote. Or if maybe you're a Republican, maybe you're a Democrat, you're registered Republican or Democrat, and you're really tired of that show, of the elephant and donkey show. Go change your registration to unaffiliated. Go change your registration to the Constitution Party. Go do that. Make a statement. Did you know that many groups across this state actually review the numbers of voters and how they've changed affiliation, and they do all of that? Make a statement. You know what? If they read those numbers off and go, wow, look, we had, 5 people leave the Republican Party and 5 people leave the Democratic Party, and we had, 5 people go unaffiliated and 5 people join the Constitution Party. That makes a statement. So go make a statement with your voter registration and vote this November. So there you go. All right, you guys, that's it for today's show. Hope you enjoy it. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Let's send you out. I think it's a campfire kind of freedom kind of day. So I'm going to send you out with that song. God bless you guys. Until next time. Oh, hey, I should tell you what's up. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about your opportunity in the Constitution Party. If you're thinking about running or for a local office, a state level office, or even an office in D.C., we would love to have you in the Constitution Party, seeking nomination in the Constitution Party for any office, really, that's up for bid in November. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. And then on Friday, I'm going to talk about a topic that I guess I've touched on here and there throughout the show. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Wyoming economy and Wyoming infrastructure. So that'll be fun on Friday. With that, little campfire kind of freedom. Take care, guys. Bye now.
Grandma's got her Bible and a coffee can of C's, sitting in that old lawn chair telling us what this place needs. Not another angry promise from a face on a TV screen, just neighbors in a circle talking about what freedom means. 'Cause round this campfire we all get a say. Red hat, blue shirt, still praying for the same new day. We pass that old guitar and the jar of sweet iced tea. You and me, we might disagree, but we're still one family. That's a campfire, kind of freedom, that's the way it ought to be. She says, listen more than talking, shake a hand that's worn and rough. You don't have to share opinions to share a plate and share your stuff. Boots in the pine straw, ashes floating to the stars. We argue, then we're laughing while the crickets play their part. Out here the land remembers every promise that we made. Cornfields, cotton rivers, they don't choose a side to take. So pull your chair in closer, let that old hurt melt and bend. We can fight like Ken at supper time, then bow our heads again. Every promise that we've made. Cornfields, cotton rivers, they don't choose a side to take. So pull your chair in closer, let that old herd melt and bend. We can fight like Ken at supper time, and bow our heads again.